This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 10 people to be awarded Order of Jamaica. Sprinter Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is among 10 people who will be inducted into the Order of Jamaica as the country prepares to honor 143 individuals with national awards this year. The Order of Jamaica is awarded to Jamaican citizens of outstanding distinction. A decorated Olympian, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce recently stormed to a historic fifth 100-meter title at the 2022 World Athletics Championships. The other Order of Jamaica recipients are business pioneer Joan Duncan, Monty Alexander, Olivia Grange, retired Justice Carl Harrison, Rita Lewin, Professor Maureen Sams Vaughan, Audrey Sewell, and Professor Alvin Wint. Actress Cheryl Lee Ralph, who is of a Jamaican heritage, will receive an honorary Order of Jamaica. Shericka Jackson, who won gold in the 200 meters at last month's World Athletics Championships, will be among 30 Jamaicans awarded the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander. 35 people will receive the Order of Distinction in the rank of Officer. 9 persons will be recognized for gallantry this year, 7 civilians and 2 policemen. Riverton City Dump to be taken out of service, says Holness. After decades of posing a smoke nuisance and its attendant health risk to thousands of corporate area residents, the Riverton City Dump off Spanish Town Road in St. Andrew is to be decommissioned. The announcement was made on Friday by Prime Minister Andrew Holness during the special joint sitting of the Senate and the House of Representatives to mark Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence. Holness said the government has undertaken a comprehensive review of the country's public sanitation, garbage collection, and waste disposal system, which he describes as a perennial problem for Jamaica. We now have a plan which will see greater private sector participation in waste collection, the introduction of waste-to-energy conversion, the commissioning of new and properly built disposal sites, and the decommissioning of various dumps including the Riverton City Dump, Holness told the sitting. He said that by September, he will be having discussions with the Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Western, Anthony Hilton, in whose constituency the problem-plagued dump is located, to fully brief him on the plans and to secure his support for the plans. Holness acknowledged that the dump sites are revenue earners for some people. Just to be clear, this is something that the political class will have to work together on. It's not simply a matter of saying we're closing down Riverton City Dump. People depend on it for their economic survival. People live around the facility, said the Prime Minister. Efforts have been made over the years to upgrade the Riverton facility to a landfill, but periodic fires there means it continues to pose a health threat to residents of nearby communities who are at times forced to inhale the toxic smoke for days at a time while firefighters battle to bring the situation under control. Environmentalists have in the past threatened class action lawsuits to get the authorities to resolve the long-standing problem. Reports have also emerged over the years that the dump was deliberately lit on numerous occasions by unscrupulous persons who in turn benefit after being contracted to help extinguish the fires. Children to learn about dangers of human trafficking. The Ministry of National Security is collaborating with the Ministry of Education and Youth to inform children about human trafficking. Director of Children and Family Programs at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, Warren Thompson, said the initiative was necessary as children are vulnerable to human trafficking. There is the inclusion of the trafficking in persons content in the home family life education curriculum in schools, where we want children and teachers to be sensitive and have an awareness of the issue, Thompson said. He continued, they have an internal committee and a plan of action aimed at basically doing some preventative work in schools across the island, so a number of things are happening in the education sector. Manager of the Trafficking in Persons Secretariat in the Ministry of National Security, Audrey Budai, said following the creation of anti-trafficking in persons clubs in schools in 2019, the National Task Force Against the Trafficking in Persons had further dialogue on engagement. What the team did coming out of the international work from the task force, they have from grades 7 to 9 developed the curriculum, and that curriculum is used at that level outside of what we were talking about with the clubs, Budhai said. She noted that school guidance counselors were trained on how to stop trafficking victims. The Education Ministry used the time wisely during the pandemic, where you couldn't go out, and what they have done creatively as well is whilst we were teaching the youngsters on television, we inserted those lessons about trafficking so that they were still learning and hearing about trafficking in persons, Budhai noted. She added that the ministry plans to re-engage the ATIP clubs. Those are what we're seeing now as leadership, and that they can hand off, and you can have that rippling effect. Their group has come up with their own subcommittee to deal with prevention and the terms of reference in terms of how they're going to deal with prevention issues to meet the needs of their public, Budhai said. 2 dead, 2 others injured in Manchester shooting. 2 men are dead following a gun attack at a party in Greenville, Manchester Friday night. 2 other people who were injured during the attack remain hospitalized. The deceased have been identified as Lloyd Levy and the 35-year-old Adrian Nation, also known as Blue, of 25th Street in Greenville. Reports are that about 8:05 p.m., Nation and Levy were among patrons at a party when men traveling in a motor vehicle opened fire at the crowd. The police were summoned and the 4 people were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital where Nation and Levy were pronounced dead, while the other 2, a man and a woman, were admitted for treatment. Attorney says the murder case against the cop lacks a foundation. One of the attorneys representing a policeman implicated in the July murder of a tailor in Red Hill, St. Andrew, is insisting that the case against her client is weak. 29-year-old Philip Wallace of an East Kirkland Heights address was gunned down about 10 a.m. at a bar on Saturday, July 16. Valerie Nita Robertson, QC, who along with Kimberly Whitaker represents Constable Purcell Carter, said all the accused cops have good alibis. My client was at his house, nowhere near Red Hills. The landlord was there and came with a technician to check the air condition system. The landlord's car blocked in his car, Nita Robertson told the news, adding that descriptions of the perpetrators by the witness do not match her client. Nita Robertson also said the other cop was on duty and the GPS tracker on the police service vehicle would show whether it went to Red Hills. All of that indicated to the judge that the case is weak, she told the news. That other cop, Corporal Miguel Ebanks, is represented by John Jacobs and Courtney Rowe. A bail application for both legal teams were denied yesterday in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. When contacted, Jacobs would only say the matter was adjourned until September 6. Ebanks is also charged with 2 counts of committing an act of corruption. Nita Robertson said the judge will review the bail application at the next hearing in a month's time. The judge wanted to ensure that the witness was protected and could not be interfered with. We also want her to be safe, don't want anything to happen to her, the attorney said. A third policeman was pointed out in an identification parade on Friday after a corporate area judge gave cops until 4 p.m. to charge the accused. The order was made earlier in the day following a habeas corpus application by the cops' lawyers Peter Champagny and Richard Lynch. The attorneys contended that the cop had spent a substantial time in custody and that the witness had failed to attend the identification parade on more than one occasion without an explanation. In granting the order, Judge Leighton Morris said he was giving the Independent Commission of Investigations a final opportunity to get its affairs in order. Speaking with the news before news came of the unnamed policeman's ID parade, Nita Robertson said that officer, who had recently returned to the island to face his judgment, had the best alibi. He was at the airport at the time of the murder, she said. The officer is expected to be charged soon. A witness had alleged that some cops had killed Wallace after he refused to pay a bribe. His spouse, who was also targeted, had to run for her life. The policemen at the center of the incident had reportedly carried out an operation and held Wallace with a quarter pound of marijuana 2 days prior. It is alleged that they demanded $150,000 not to press charges. Wallace reportedly gave the cops $15,000. However, he was still prosecuted and further asked to pay the remaining sum to prevent the matter from proceeding to court. A report was then made to the superior of the policemen, who intervened and asked the cops about the allegations, which they denied. The 2 policemen were charged as a result of an investigation by Indicom with support from the police force and after a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.